My general purpose is to inform. My specific purpose is at the end of my speech, the audience should know the conditions surrounding teenage smoking. To understand the conditions surrounding teenage smoking, you must know the reasons why teenagers smoke, the effects smoking has on teenagers, and what we can do as parents to prevent our teenagers from smoking. Have you ever caught your child smoking or know of anyone who has? Have you ever wondered what causes a teenager to pick up the habit of smoking and the effects that smoking has on teenagers? Have you ever wondered what we can do as parents to prevent our teenagers from smoking? If you have caught your teenager smoking, I'm sure you have asked yourself these same questions. After researching this subject, statistics show that conditions surrounding teenage smoking and that we as parents have the ability to prevent our teenagers from smoking. According to airport.com, 28% of high school students smoke daily. To fully understand the conditions of teenage smoking and what we can do, we must first answer some questions. Why teenagers smoke, the effects smoking has on teenagers, and what we can do as parents to prevent our teenagers from smoking. Throughout my research, it is clear to me that in order to prevent our teenagers from smoking, we must first understand why it is happening and the effects it has on teenagers. First, we need to know why teenagers smoke. Group acceptance is one of the major reasons for teenagers to pick up the smoking habit. The fear they may not be accepted if they do not smoke. Giving in to peer pressure to be accepted into the group tends to be an issue. Rebellion is another reason a teenager picks up the smoking habit. Although they may not enjoy smoking, they still do it because they know it will annoy the people around them and enrage their parents. In their own mind, they are living on the wild side. Adult aspirations is yet another reason a teenager smokes. Being an adult to a teenager is very important. It gives them the feeling of independence and the image they are acting like an adult. They figure if they are smoking, then that makes them an adult because there are plenty of adults out there that smoke that are influenced to children, whether they are aware of it or not. Now that we have discussed the reasons why teenagers smoke, let's move on to discuss the effects of smoking. Second, you must know the effects smoking has on teenagers. According to sweet101.com, nicotine exposure on the adolescent's brain causes depressive symptoms. A study conducted by Florida State University stated that teenagers who smoke are setting themselves up for depression that could last a lifetime. A study conducted by Neuropsychopharmacology, an online journal, states that smoking heightens the sensitivity of stress in adult lives. Despite all the education and long-term health hazards, teenagers still tend to ignore the signs. Smoking can also lead to asthma. According to the American Journal of Respiratory and Critical Care Medicine, smoking 300 cigarettes or more are almost 4 times the risk for new onset asthma during their adolescent years compared with non-smokers. Emphysema is another effect smoking will have on teenagers. Emphysema, according to quitsmoking.com, is a severe lung disease in which tiny air sacs in the lungs become damaged. Also, quitsmoking.com says the chemicals in cigarette smoke are thought to damage the delicate walls of the alveoli, ultimately breaking them down, leaving larger sacs that are less efficient at processing the exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide. Smoking is the most common cause of emphysema. Now that we know the effects smoking has on teenagers, let's move on to see what we can do as parents. Lastly, what we can do as parents to prevent our teenagers from smoking. First thing we can do is limit the amount of cash that your teen carries around. If you're suspecting that your teen is smoking, then limit the amount of cash you're giving them. Cigarettes are not cheap, and if you limit their cash load to less than what a pack of cigarettes costs, they will not be able to buy them. Second, you can lobby your state representatives for higher tobacco tax. As I just mentioned, cigarettes are not cheap. If you lobby your state representatives for higher taxes on tobacco products, it will make it tougher for your kids to buy them. Third, speak with the managers of the stores that you believe to be selling tobacco to your teens. If you suspect that you know what store your teenagers are getting the cigarettes from, talk to the managers of the store, but be respectful. If it is a genuine concern for you, then there should not be a problem with the managers respecting your wishes. Due to this speech, you should know the circumstances surrounding teenage smoking and what can be done to prevent it. In conclusion, you should fully understand the conditions of teenage smoking, which include why teenagers smoke, the effect smoking has on teenagers, and what we can do as parents to prevent our teenagers from smoking. During the course of today, approximately 4,000 teenagers tried their first cigarette. Now that you are aware of the reasons why and the effects of teenage smoking and prevention, you now have the tools to prevent them from continuing the nasty habit of smoking.